Did not know that. Well, and Jim Duggan is the one that actually won the match, and he's your first Royal Rumble participant or winner. I don't think that guaranteed a title match.
Back then, no.
I didn't think so.
I think that started. I could be wrong, but I think that started in 90, 91. I think it started in 90. But I could be wrong. But yeah, it was back then it was just more just a let's just go ahead and give us this match a go ahead. And I'm glad they did, obviously. And obviously the match was modified after that year, moving forward. But it was a great addition to obviously to what's going on today. It was more with a Royal Rumble match. Great match, semi favorite. So absolutely. Yeah. So what'd you think about the match?
You can tell. You could really tell this was the first one. There's a couple times where they pause and you can kind of notice they didn't know what to do.
Oh yeah. And a lot of people say that the Royal Rumble's a tough match there. Not so much, I know they'll say, well, there's a Hell in a Cell. It's the hardest match to plan. It's
a brawling match. That's why.
Well, yeah. You gotta know where you're gonna get eliminated, who's going what. That's just not one person. That's a number of people over the years talked about how hard that match is to.
Yeah, I remember hearing that because it's like you have to wait for spots, and the spots aren't what they normally are. Yeah. I will say though, I think the Hart Foundation probably were the MVPs of it, making it interesting.
Yeah, they made a big impact on that match too. Yeah.
Although seeing Bret Hart in all pink, it was really, really weird.
Okay.
Because I was used to the pink top and the black pants with the pink outlines on it.
Yeah.
It's WCW gear, so seeing him and Jim Neidhart and all.
But he's always worn his usual colors.
No. What I mean is, like in this, it was all pink. All pink.
Oh, you're thinking about his more modern, like
the 90s one where he had the black pants with the pink upper area kind of thing.
Okay, I got you now.
Yeah, seeing all pink with just like one little heart on it is like, whoa, okay.
Someone posted a picture on Instagram recently. I don't know who it was, and I can't think of who it was now. But they posted a picture, an early Stampede Wrestling. It was of Brett. I think Owen may have been involved in that picture. I'm just saying Brett, and he had one other brother. I'll say that. I can't think of all his brother's names.
It might have been Bruce Hart.
It might have been Bruce, actually. I think it was Bruce. Bruce there, Brett, and somebody else. I don't think maybe it wasn't Owen. It was somebody else, though. I can't think of who it was. They were in the ring, just sitting there in the ropes on the turnbuckle. And, they looked extremely, extremely young. I was like, you wouldn't even think it was Brett. He had a weird hairdo. It was just funny, but it was cool. It was years before this.
Yeah. I wonder if he's ever disclosed why he always wore all pink or pink in general.
He may have, but I never heard. I guess he just wanted to be different. I guess that's my only thought. But of course, you think of hearts. You're thinking either pink or red. So maybe that's might be the reason. That's logical thinking, but
maybe
I don't know I'm not putting as a fact, and everybody was saying that's just my own thought. So maybe one day we'll find out.
It was just one of those things that came up or came into my mind when I was watching. I'm like, I wonder why he always did pink. So that was the Royal Rumble match, and then the final match of the night was a tag team match between the Islanders, Haku and Tama, against the Young Stallions of Paul Roma and Jim Powers. I'm not gonna lie, I looked up Tama to see if they were related to anyone from the Gorillas of Destiny over in New Japan, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, and if they're related. They're not. Haku is of course Meng, and Tama, I believe he is the older he's somewhere tied to the family with The Rock and Rikishi and all them.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a pretty well-rounded fan of Jim Powers in WCW, man. Loved his in-ring work, man. I don't know if you remember him or not, but
I don't.
I was a big fan of his. I mean, he was on Nitro sometimes too, but he spent a lot of time on like Saturday night, WCW Saturday night. I just was always excited to see him on it. I forgot what year he left the company or released, whatever. And it was always cool to see Jim Powers. So that was his early days there in WWF. But yeah, I had to look twice to try to recognize him. He looked different than he did years later in WCW. But yeah, I was always a fan of his in there.
I actually don't recognize. I did not know Jim Powers. And it sounds really, really bad, but I did not know.
No, that's fine. I mean, he went
I knew Paul Roma, but I knew Paul Roma because of like later stuff I've seen with. I could be wrong, but wasn't he part of the Four Horsemen at one point?
I think he was associated with him.
Yeah.
I know it sounds bad. We're not making these up, but I think he's association with it.
I just checked it. Yep, 1993. He was part of the Four Horsemen.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
This was a pretty good match. Haku, aka Meng, can definitely destroy people.
Yeah.
So this is bad. This is a bad joke, and I get that. But when this was on, when I was watching this match, I got the notification that Drew McIntyre had gotten COVID. And you know how in the early 2000s everyone was talking about Chuck Norris and all those things can't be defeated. Like, Chuck Norris was like all powerful. I'm like, Ming was like damn near indestructible to where a lot of wrestlers are afraid of him.
Oh yeah.
I kind of have a feeling that like COVID might get close to Ming and then like turn the other way because he didn't want to die. Kind of like a Chuck Norris but wrestling version.
Yeah, no, I get you. He was a lethal guy, man. Whew.
I think it was Jake Roberts that said, I could have a tank with a grenade and it'd be pointed at Ming and I would still die.
Oh my gosh. If I ain't mistaken, I might be, but if I'm mistaken, when The Rock got his first match back, years ago, first wrestling match, not first match WWF, he had no wrestling gear, and I think it was Haku that gave him some wrestling gear. Just out of the blue, he's like, he had a match just came up, and he's like, I had no wrestling gear. Oh, it was boots. I think he had his boots that he didn't have for that one. I think he had found tights somewhere along the way, but I think boots, if I'm not mistaken. Haku, where I understand, Rock talked about, I'm 99.99% sure he said Haku. They had a picture of him. He's telling a story about it. And, he had no gear, and Haku gave him his stuff.
Well, I mean, that's nice of him.
Oh, yeah, and Rock was broke. He had no money, but, back then he just went from college to the football league and then playing football, over Canada. And then, came out of the broke, but he had his family member or whatever, and gave him some wrestling gear. So that was cool. That's when he started.
Okay, so I was trying to find the story about this, talking about legacy and reputation, and this is Haku. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna read off the two stories that I found here. Uh-huh. In March of 1989, Haku got into an altercation with some men at Baltimore Airport bar who called wrestling fake. During the fight, Haku bit off the nose of one of the men, stating, "Yeah, it was in Baltimore Airport. Me and Siva Afi went over there, and were lots of baby faces there in the bar, so we went and sat in the corner away from them. When they were ready to close, we had a few drinks, and on our way out, these five guys sitting there, of course, the same thing came out, the fake stuff. Hey, are you the guys with those guys, wrestlers, the fake wrestlers on TV, I said, yeah, I'll show you. I reached over without thinking. There are four other guys there, laughs, grabs his face, and bit his nose off. Then the fight started. Me and Civic kind of cleaned a house there and left. I'll never forget it. The second story, so mind you, he bit off the guy's nose. So in the second story, in a shoot interview, Bobby Heenan talks extensively about Meng and referred to him the toughest man he's ever met. And the most extreme story he shared was in regards to a bar fight in which he claimed that Meng took his 2 fingers on his right hand, his index and the trigger finger, and reached into the guy's mouth and broke off the guy's bottom teeth. Heenan said that if he hadn't been there to see it for himself, he wouldn't have believed it. Heenan was also close friends with Andre the Giant and claimed that the only 2 men in the world that Andre feared were Meng and Harley Race. He then said he praised Haku as a good-hearted family man. That's insane. He bites off the nose of one guy and then breaks bottom teeth of the other guy by just reaching in and grabbing it.
What? So basically, you're saying Haku Meng was the John Wick of wrestling.
Pretty much. He's definitely got a better reputation, legit reputation at that, than Chuck Norris.
Wow. That's crazy. I never heard those stories ever. I know he's a tough guy, but don't piss him off.
No, definitely do not. And you have to wonder, like, you could just picture him like, yeah, you could pick a fight with anybody here. Not him. He will put you in.
Yeah, these guys are all... No, don't mess with that dude. He said that guy said the F word. Don't say that F word. Say that word fake. You know what I'm talking about? I was like, wow, that's crazy. Yeah. He's a loving guy though. That's funny.
He's a good-hearted family man. Don't piss him off. Well, it's kind of like because you may have mentioned John Wick. John Wick, he will not kill you unless you kill a dog.
Oh my god, that's crazy. Well, that's a story right there.
Yeah.
Man. I know he was just crazy and tough, man. That takes the cake. I've heard a thing or two about William Regal, but man, that takes out those stories.
I wonder what William Regal would ever say about Haku, because they did spend some time together in WCW.
Oh yeah, they did. By far, they did. Yeah, that would be interesting to hear Regal's story about what he always thought about him being around him in the back there.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay. Well, interesting there. So what do you think about the match?
It was pretty good. Again, I guess maybe it's my unfamiliarity, but I thought the Islanders kind of carried it. I did rate it a 5.5.
All right, there with you.
Okay. Yeah. I felt like the Islanders kind of carried it. I don't know enough about Jim Powers. Paul Roma was kind of stiff, but
also he got injured too. So Paul Roma. So
was that a legit injury? Because I did see that on TV, but I couldn't remember if that was a legit. I did not know if that was a legit injury.
I think he actually kind of maybe was because they kind of the way the spot was, and then they had to come back and redo the match. So that's my only thought behind it. You know, they had to walk away from the match, and then they came back to it. So the way the spot was, I'm thinking that it may have been. You know, but usually if there's that bad injury, you know, they're not going to do it. But maybe back then it was a little different story on the injuries. But I would say it was probably legit. But
I wasn't sure.
Of course, if I say that,
I mean, it could have been because the way that he did fall out did look kind of rough, but at the same time, I don't know. It could have been.
I think I'm just going to go and say it was.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if you were familiar with it or not. Just
I
hadn't really watched this era much of WWF.
Absolutely, I understand it. For y'all listening, if you didn't watch that match for a long time, go back and check it out. Let us know if you think it's legit or was legit or not.
And if whether or not Meng did it on purpose.
He may have.
If he could break some teeth, he could break a knee.
Oh, yeah. He could hurt you just with his thumb.
Yeah, that was his finisher, wasn't it? No, it was a Tongan death grip.
Well, that was part of it. Yeah, he did some stuff with Stump too.